Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today, and we're starting with a really interesting rumor regarding Naughty Dog and another game that they apparently have in development that's been in development for some time now. This is being reported on by the Game Post, and they say the information comes from well-known insider Daniel RPK, who shared a short update on his Patreon page. According to his post, Naughty Dog has a second project in development, and it's not The Last of Us Part 3. Even more interesting, the game is said to be led by Sean Eskag, the director of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and Marvel's Avengers, and it's already been in development for 3 years. So what makes this so interesting is we did have this officially confirmed by Naughty Dog when they unfortunately had to announce the cancellation of The Last of Us Online. They did say that they have 2 single-player projects in development. We now know that one of those projects is Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, and we had assumed that the other project was The Last of Us Part 3. But this seems to indicate that it's not going to be The Last of Us, and it actually explains Neil Druckmann's recent comments, where when he was asked about a third part for The Last of Us, he said, yeah, I don't know, this might be it. Pretty much making it sound like they're just not working on The Last of Us Part 3. It's not a thing that's happening right now internally at Naughty Dog. And what lends even more credence to this rumor is that we go to Twitter and people are obviously reporting on this, and people are talking about it. And Kurt Margenu, who's actually from Naughty Dog, he's in a pretty high position at Naughty Dog. He actually commented just simply saying, let us cook, seemingly low-key confirming this rumor that we're hearing where there's been a game in development for over 3 years at Naughty Dog that is not The Last of Us Part 3. Now, honestly, I think this is Uncharted, knowing that the person who's directing it and in charge worked on Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and we've been hearing rumors and rumblings of a new Uncharted of some kind in development internally at PlayStation Studios for literally years now. This would make the most sense. And, you know, at this point, it's just a matter of, I guess, waiting to see if that turns out to be true. But either way, I think this is pretty exciting because, you know, Intergalactic is a new IP, something completely different from Naughty Dog. And again, we had just assumed that the other game is obviously The Last of Us Part 3, but to find out actually no, it's something else. Even if it is Uncharted, I mean, Uncharted has been resting for a long time now, it feels like. So if Uncharted were to come back, I think people would be very excited. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which briefly covers Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, being reported by Push Square. They say Naughty Dog's new game, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is not only fully playable internally, but it's also incredible. That's according to the project's potentially biased director, Neil Druckmann, who is speaking with IGN on the red carpet ahead of the second season of HBO's Last of Us, which premieres in April. Earlier this week, Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier implied on Reset Era that the PS5 exclusive won't launch until at least sometime in 2027. But Druckmann has at least provided some hope that the project is progressing well. I will say we are playing Intergalactic at the office, and it's incredible. It's really good. I'm so excited to finally put gameplay out into the world and show people about it because we just showed you the very, very, very tip of the iceberg. The game goes pretty deep beyond that. That's what Neil Druckmann had to say. And so obviously he's not going to come out here and say, oh, the game's bad and we're not progressing well. He's not going to say anything like that. But the one thing I do want to highlight here is that it does seem like what I've been speculating is going to turn out to be true, where I have a feeling that Intergalactic is going to be a game from Naughty Dog where people are hyper-fixated on the gameplay. Not to say that we weren't hyper-fixated on the gameplay of The Last of Us and even Uncharted, but I mean like a title where the gameplay is truly center stage and everything else, like the story, the characters, even the world building to a degree, is all kind of secondary or third or fourth in line. And it really seems like Naughty Dog built this game from the ground up to really make it a gameplay focused experience that when people talk about it, when people think about it, it's the gameplay. But we are going to move on to the next topic, which is a small update on another upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive, that being Ghost of Yotei, being reported once again by Push Square. They say, just in case anyone was starting to worry about the fact that we've seen nothing from Ghost of Yotei since its reveal last year, a quick social media post has reiterated that the PS5 exclusive is still on course for its promised, if vague, 2025 release. The post comes from developer Sucker Punch's communication manager, Andrew Goldfarb. Promoting open positions at the studio, he reiterates, quote, "Help us launch Ghost of Yotei this year," end quote. Now, I've been seeing quite a few people beginning to speculate and also assume that this game is going to get delayed out of 2025 because we haven't really seen anything of it. It was announced in September of last year, and now we're going into April of 2025 and nothing, right? And I get that. It's understandable why people would assume that, but I've been trying to let people know that Sony has been frequently reiterating that this game is launching this year. And so what I think is happening is they're basically saving a huge reveal for gameplay and everything else regarding Ghost of Yotei for a summer show. I don't know if it's going to be a showcase per se, it could be just a big state of play, but I do imagine that Ghost of Yotei is going to take center stage sometime in May or June, and I could see it being released maybe sometime in September. We know that Sony has definitely shown an openness to kind of really shorten their marketing cycles, where it's yeah, we're just going to start talking about this game now 2 or 3 months before it's about to launch. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it actually can be pretty effective. But yeah, it is just worth pointing out that even Sucker Punch themselves, the communication manager, is saying that this game is coming this year. They're not hiding that, and they're really kind of putting that front and center. But moving on to the next topic here, this is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. They say, yesterday's Nintendo Direct was full of surprise for Switch players. However, the showcase also unexpectedly revealed a duo of PlayStation first-party games coming to Nintendo's portable hybrid thanks to a licensing deal between Sony and Bandai Namco. The first is Patapon 1 and 2 Replay, a remaster of the beloved PSP games from Japan Studio. The title includes the first 2 games from 2007 and 2008 respectively, as well as new updates to make each game more accessible and enjoyable. The bundle launches for PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC on July 11th. The second game is a brand new entry in the Everybody's Golf series, titled Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Although a specific date was not revealed, Clap Hand's next entry will launch on PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC sometime this year. This is not the first time Bandai Namco and Sony have partnered to bring a first-party game to other platforms. The most recent example of this is Freedom Wars Remastered, which launched for PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam earlier this year. This means Bandai Namco plans to release 3 Sony first-party games within a calendar year. What other PlayStation classics does the publisher have in store? And so, yeah, this is something that caught quite a few people off guard during the Nintendo Direct, seeing Sony continue to kind of take these older PlayStation IPs and Sony-owned IPs and kind of license them out to another publisher, in this case, Bandai Namco. And it seems to be working, right? I don't know why Sony doesn't want to publish it themselves. I'm sure they had their reason, but it just seems like Sony really doesn't want to do anything, if that makes sense. They just kind of want to, yeah, here you go, we'll just give it to you, and we'll just basically do nothing and have no involvement and just rake in a little bit of money. And I think people who are fans of these classic IPs, such as Patapon and Everybody's Golf, I think that they're feeling pretty happy. And it is interesting that Sony is letting this stuff kind of be revealed during a Nintendo event. So we are seeing Sony kind of, again, just become a little bit more open to this type of stuff. And I think it's a good thing overall because people have been asking Sony to do more with these IPs, right? I don't think that these are the intellectual properties that, like the first ones that people think of when they think of classic PlayStation IP. But nonetheless, people have been asking Sony to do this, and here they are. They're doing it, more so than we've seen previously. Moving on to the final topic of the video, though, it's some bad news for the Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition and DLC. Being reported by WCCF Tech, it says Warner Bros. Games have canceled Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition even before its official announcement. The news comes from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who was also the first to report on its existence in June 2024. Avalanche Software was developing this version of the best-selling game of 2023 with the help of Rocksteady. A few months ago, insider Tom Henderson wrote that Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition was scheduled to launch sometime in 2025 with 10 to 15 hours of new content and a price of $20 to $30 for owners of the base game. This more or less lines up with Schreier's new report, which says that it would have restored a cut storyline tied to one of the game's companions. However, Hogwarts Legacy Definitive Edition was canceled, partly because Warner Bros. Games was concerned that the amount of new content would not be enough to justify the price. Bloomberg does also reiterate that a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy is still in development, so, there are no worries about that. But yeah, this was a bit surprising. We've been hearing about this for quite some time. A lot of people on PlayStation 5 bought Hogwarts Legacy, and I think a lot of people were anticipating this DLC, but maybe it was the right call. If they felt that it just simply wasn't going to be worth it, then yeah, it wouldn't have been a good idea to come out, try to market that just to have people be like, no, this isn't enough, or this is pretty weak considering how long we've been waiting for it. And you could also argue that they missed the opportunity where it's been a while, right, since Hogwarts Legacy came out. So maybe at this point, just focus on the sequel, and anything you were going to put out there as DLC, just put it into the second game. But I just want to let you guys know about that. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.